pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, this is the Lincoln County Commission special session on March 11, 2015. Those present, I'll call the meeting to order. Those present are Darrell Baker, Jerry Matthews, Charles Banks, Deacon Norris. Discussion and concern possible action is the memorandum of understanding for the day report.
Yes, sir.
You all have that?
Yes, we do.
We'd like to see it.
Thank you.
Would anybody like to speak?
I would.
Judge Stockton?
That's surprising.
I'm usually up there. I don't get to be down here very often. A couple things I'd like to, first of all, tell you a little bit about Day Report, answer any questions you have. I have a number of people here today to answer. It's one thing for me to answer questions. I've actually brought the Day Report director, people who work at Day Report, my probation office, my drug court officer, and I probably forgot one or two more people back there. Right now, Day Report serves approximately 114 people in Lincoln County. Let me tell you how that works. The program that uses Day Report more than anything is the drug court. Drug court participants are there, depending on what phase they're in, they're there sometimes as many as 5, sometimes even 6 days a week. We do some community service on Saturdays as well as drug screens on Saturdays. And occasionally we'll do them on Sundays as well. It's sort of with drug screens you want to keep them random, keep people, not to set it in a pattern. Other populations that are served, we use a ton of probationers through Day Report. Other entities that use Day Report is there's abuse and neglect screens, DHHR, and let me tell you a little bit, I know that's not necessarily Lincoln County Commission's concern of DHHR. I know some of y'all might have worked with the DHHR before. It's important that we keep those local as far as drug screens. The biggest problems you have on abuse and neglect cases, it's drug abuse. It's everywhere. Only way I've found to have any success at all with any type of abuse and neglect type case is you've got to screen a lot, and you've got to be consistent with the screening. We can send people right down the street down here and have a drug screen. There's been times past where I think they've had to go to Hurricane to get drug screened. It's haphazard. It's not something you can count on a consistent basis. It didn't work well. It didn't work well here. It didn't work well in Boone County. I'm not saying it's a perfect system. It's not, but it's working better than I've ever seen it work before. We also use it. Family court uses it. I'm aware Judge Ellswick probably drug screens more than any other family court judge in the area, and he uses Day Report to drug screen, and that's very important. He's got to make decisions on a lot of child custody cases, a lot of drug allegations. Some are true, some are not, and the drug screens generally prove that out. There's also juveniles. We run now both the juvenile drug court, Judge Oak's overseeing that now, as well as actual juvenile probationers, and they also use the Day Report services, more so for a drug screening, but it is important. Community service. Last year we did 10,798 hours of community service. We did it, all of that was Lincoln County. We did a lot during the water crisis. We do a lot for cities, Hamlin, places like that. Do a lot for the county commissions. Do a lot here in the courthouse. I mean, community service is an important part of the program of Day Report. We do have employees. There is, I believe, 4 full-time employees of the Day Report Center. I'm happy to say all 4 of those are Lincoln County residents. There's also some therapists that will come in. They're not assigned just to Lincoln County. They're assigned to, they generally work between Lincoln and Boone. We have those. We also have case managers that work out of the Day Report. It's, in fact, impacts a lot of people. What we're asking for is the $60,000. As you can tell, community corrections, that's a state grant. They match more than match that. It's like 2 point whatever times that. Plus, the Supreme Court also chips in a significant budget to run the drug court, and most of that budget goes to day report. So I mean, it's a symbiotic relationship. We can't have drug court without day report. Plus, day report is also more than just drug court. It helps with probation, with use and neglects, juvenile cases, family court, things of that nature. It's more than just showing up down there and doing a drug screen and leaving. There's lots of counseling offered, lots of classes. These classes, how can I say this? There's been a lot of thought to go into a class that's being offered by people probably a lot smarter than me as far as when it comes to counseling. And these are the programs in counseling that is supposed to work. And I will tell you, most of what we're doing, and which y'all already know this, most of it's drug and substance abuse counseling. That's, I don't know the percentage, I would say 80 to 85% of it's related to that issue. But there's other things we offer, such as family counseling and individual therapy and things of that nature. I know $60,000 is a lot. I also want you to pay attention. I do think we do a really good job in this circuit, and Judge Hoke's here as well to speak to that, as far as trying to keep our jail bills down as much as possible. We try, and this is one of the mechanisms we use. Day report's a great thing. There's a lot of people out there that straight probation does not work for. And we've got to decide whether or not we incarcerate those people or give them a shot through day report. I'm not going to say, there's some counties that do this, and I don't agree with this math, that people should take the 114 or however many people's in day report, times that by the $48 a day or whatever it is for drug court, times that by 365, and how much the county's saving. That doesn't work. All 114 people of these would not be in jail right now. And if they all were in jail, Lincoln County wouldn't be on the hook for all. A lot of them would be felons where the state would be picked up. But if over the course of the year, if you do your math, if you do 4 people for the course of the year, you pay the budget was able to. And it is effective. I'm telling you, one way is a cost saving. I'm going to talk about money first because I know we're here talking about money, but then we'll talk about the greater good that's being done. We're getting people who's incarcerated and can't make bond. And I will say the lawyers in Lincoln County, I think, make better use of it in a quicker way than they do in Boone County. Boone County, they sort of wait until they're indicted. Lincoln County is a little bit more proactive. Can't really tell you why the difference is between the two counties.
What's that idiot judge ain't got?
I know. You know, well, but they are a little bit more proactive at trying to get the people out of jail a little bit quicker, trying to get them into drug court. The prosecutor's office does a real good job with that. It's more of somebody sitting in jail for 2 weeks, if it's going to be drug court, let's get them in drug court rather than sitting and waiting till the next term of the grand jury meets and they're indicted and their lawyer fiddles around with it for 30 days, and then we'll get them in drug court. Lincoln County's better at being proactive as far as getting them in quicker, which is a huge cost savings for the county. If over the course of the year 4 people are done quicker through that time, and it's easy, you know, it's real easy for someone to get arrested, not make bond, not get indicted. They get arrested at the end of the term of court, say beginning of September. Prosecutor gets it. I don't have a police report done yet. Person's going to sit in jail till 3rd Monday in January. 3rd Monday in January, they're indicted. You know, it's 6 months right there for that one person. And then their lawyer gets it. Well, okay, they're not offering drug court anymore. I'm wanting, might have a chance beating this or wearing them down, or you know, getting to the prosecutor's office. The filing will cave. That whole time a person's sitting in jail and your jail bill's going up. This way we're trying to get them out of jail quicker, and that's something we have worked on, and I've tried to do a better job of it in Boone. I don't need to preach to the choir down here because I do think Lincoln County does a better job of getting the people that are arrested into drug court quicker. But that is a huge cost saving. I also would like to talk a little bit about the actual greater good that's being done. we don't fix everybody in drug court. We don't fix everybody in day report. We kick out a lot more than what we graduate. There's a lot more that will end up in prison that will graduate. However, we do fix people. And my thought process, if we can say 2 out of 10, we're doing a pretty good job. I think all three of y'all are familiar either through the school system, through CPS, or through your practice. There's a lot of drug problems in this county. And a lot, I don't know what else works. If there was another thing that worked, if there was a magic pill I could give them and make it all go away, I'd be 100% proponent to that. This is the best thing I've seen thus far as getting it to work. And like I said, we don't fix everybody. We kick out a lot more people than what we graduate. But the ones that do graduate, it's a tough program, you know. And this is a side note, but you can't put a price on this. How many drug-free babies have we had out of 6? We've had 6 drug-free babies out of drug court. And these are people who have been long-time drug abusers who would have definitely abused drugs during their pregnancy. I mean, no question. And I know that's not a cost necessarily borne by Lincoln County, it's more of a cost borne by the state and the federal government. But to have 6 kids who are not born addicted to drugs is amazing. And I think we have 2 pregnant in Lincoln County right now.
Yes.
You know, so I mean, and they know, I mean, I might be wrong on this constitutionally. I'm a little bit tougher. I mean, if you're in drug court, you're pregnant, you're using, you're not gonna stop, you're gonna sit in jail. I mean, I know y'all might not want to hear that as far as the jail deal goes, but when you read the reports of what happens when, and I'm sure you've seen it, and I'm sure you've seen the CPS, and you get to deal with them when they're a little bit older, but if you've seen the reports of drug addicted babies being born, just, you know, deck stacked against them at birth, and we end up dealing with them as they get older. I mean, I hate to see it, but you know, you can say, that's a drug baby. And unfortunately, we're starting to see more and more of those. Mr. Swanson did prepare a handout. There is a little bit, there's a summary of what's actually done in Lincoln County on a daily basis. That's the schedule. The days that you don't see scheduled down are days we do community service. We also do special projects community service. We do Saturday community service. If there's anything that people need help with, we plan around that, and we come in, you know, if there's a Lincoln County fair, whatever it might be, we work around and we try to help. I've also put together the actual people working at Lincoln County, what their salaries are, what the county's portion of it. If you'll notice toward the end, part of it, if there's not a county match, there is other funds that comes in through day report, through like the Supreme Court, things of that nature. It is a program that I think works really well. I wasn't around for the very start of day report, but I've seen day report grow from a 1 employee operation down here on the corner to a 4 or 5 person employee. It used to beg to serve 1 person. I mean, I think when we first started, we had 1 person in
Right.
for a long time.
That's right.
Now we're serving 114. I'll also say that this, I'm going to toot their horn a little bit. We do have one of the better day report centers in the state. Our day report encompasses Boone, Lincoln, Logan, and Mingo. And there's talk, you know, people, judges talk, people in the Supreme Court talks, and I think we run one of the best, if not the best programs in the state. We have other programs come down and look to see how we do things. I've had a couple judges come in and visit with me for a day just to see how things run. Judge Oak's going to talk a little bit about the actual, some of the new legislation that's came about mandating drug courts, which we were ahead of the game. We started that before the legislature required it. But some of the other responsibilities under that, it's a good program. I'm here to answer any and all questions you have. And if I can't answer them, I brought the people who could. Do you all have any questions?
No, I'm just glad to see. Understand.
No,
We
I
didn't have
think
that to begin with.
when you and I talked yesterday, I think it was, you know, I think that, you know, we're in a situation where we're really tight on money and things like that, and I know you know that from our conversation. And, you know, I'm glad Mr. Gayhart didn't get down here, because we might not have to give you the money and not give it to him. So, but anyway.
I didn't say.
I know.
He told me to raise that issue.
I thought he might. But anyway, you know, I think just a comment as far as what you make there is so many more benefits to this program than you can, either you or I can really figure out in one setting. You know, I've seen people that have been admitted to the court, to the drug court, and have finished the program. And I think I mentioned your father come to me and told me that it wasn't a good idea. He didn't think it'd start. And after his son finished the program, it was the best thing that happened. And, you know, and I see, you know, we have, as far as physicians, we have, you know, 95% relapse rate on people addicted to opiates. And that's something that you guys are helping with. I mean, and we talk about the health of our children and our babies. And these people, you know, I hate to say it, but, you know, the mother that gets pregnant that's addicted, her still primary focus is on the addiction, on the
Yes.
baby. And we're not going to change that. That's human nature. But we can isolate as best we can those people from the addiction they have. Let these babies get healthy and be born healthy, and then they have chances. They're not on, you know, we have a lot of people that maybe in families that don't encourage them to do better, but we also have this problem that the people who are addicted to drugs who can't do better for themselves, much less their kids. And so I don't see in any way how I could restrict that access. You know, and I've been, I think, around since I've been around with it, and I've solved the good things, and I don't, you know, and I told you in our original conversations we had, the drug court didn't come up, and it was more data court centered, and you know, I think you have to look at it, you know, so much differently when you look at, you know, those tangible things that you mentioned, plus the other intangibles, probably outweighing 3 to 1. You know, if we don't want, in this county, we're in the forefront of what we're doing with drugs.
I really think we are. I think that we are on the cutting edge.
And you know, and to me, you don't want to take a step back. This is not, you know, and we are the greatest impacted area in the state with these, with addiction. And, you know, it to me, it's, you know, not something that you could even, you know, morally say you should do. So, but I just wanted to comment.
I think we all agree with Doc, but I appreciate this information and talking to you yesterday. I think if we'd have had this a few days ago, we might not all be here today.
I understand.
But one question I do have.
Okay.
I'm trying to piece this all together as we go through the budget, and like you said, that's really the bottom line. On here you have the utilities and office supplies. Are you all paying part of that out of the grant, or, I mean, it was kind of my understanding. the
That would be a
county was
good
picking up
question for Michelle to answer.
All of the utilities up there.
I think the other memorandum states that we provide the utilities and facilities.
Yeah,
Yes,
on
you
here
do.
on the breakdown, it has,
There are 2 utilities that Lincoln County does not pay at the Lincoln County site, and that is the phone bill and the cable internet bill, which we pay through Armstrong.
paying an Armstrong bill for that building.
We are too.
Wonder why there's 2.
I don't know. We pay,
Home confinement bill problem.
you may be paying home.
I have a
confinement.
home confinement bill.
All separate?
Well, I'm sure that we can work that
Oh,
out.
yeah.
Yeah, that might be an issue, because we definitely pay that once a month. And then the other thing that goes into the utilities is the, just a copier maintenance fee in Mingo County that the county doesn't pay in Mingo. So that's where those totals come from. And we also realize that as far as office supplies go, Lincoln County does provide things like mops and toilet paper and paper towels and things like that for the building. So that's not included in there. Some counties don't provide that, and we have to take that money out of office supplies.
Let me ask you, are you using the total space down there, or could you do with less space? Because we're looking at doing other things as far as maybe W extension and things like that, seeing if we could possibly utilize some of that, some of that space for something else other than what you all do, if it was
Rachel's
possible.
probably the best person to speak to that.
Right now, we occupy the entire building. We have 2 classrooms, one upstairs and one downstairs. The only office space occupied by anyone else is one room where home confinement is housed. And actually, the person, Joey Birch, that does the road crew community service, shares an office with my administrative assistant.
Well, if we go ahead and enter in an agreement though, do you think that if we could work out some space thing down there? that
Space
we
is
could-
always negotiable.
Yeah, okay.
It's always a problem too.
Because that could save us money at other sites that we might have to put, to help the other people.
How much
We-
space are you talking about?
Two office space or something like that.
And we work some with the extension people too, on gardening and things like that, don't we?
We did.
Okay. I know we have in the
They
past.
start growing stuff they shouldn't.
Taking their knowledge and using it
That'll
for
happen,
something
that'll
else.
happen.
But I just wanted to see about that, because we're looking at how we can save any way we can, and we have requests from other, like the W extension people, that would want to do something. If it wouldn't be a problem us working that out, then I
I'm
think
sure.
that would help us too. save-
Space is always at a premium. I'm sure we can work something. I mean, we're also, y'all sharing this with the family law judge too. I understand space is a problem. The same problems exist in Boone. That's my probation office. We share a hot desk. About 4 people are on one desk in Boone County.
Listen, I move we approve the memorandum.
Well, did you want to say anything?
I was.
I know you want to say something, Mike.
No, because I wore my dress uniform. I thought I'd be playing today, but if I'm sitting on the bench, that's just as good. The only thing that I would mention was, I didn't come in with everybody else because I went and checked. Things going on at the legislature right now, because I learned the old adage when I worked there as a staff member, that no man or woman or child's life is safe while the legislature's in session.
Especially now.
Yeah.
Especially now. And there are a number of things having to do with the Justice Reinvestment Act, which is how this came up originally from Senate Bill 371. Now, I know that you all will be sensitive to the kind of surprise we received from that, because it changed the way we did everything. It established new priorities, established new protocols, a whole number of things. And the reason you would be sensitive to that, because the poor assessor here was given a unique surprise when he took office by some legislation that had passed that kicked in and made his job and his life immeasurably harder. This is the same thing working here. So, understanding the philosophy behind the judicial view of this, and in light of the act that got passed here a couple of years ago, with the importance of the Day Report Center, juvenile and adult drug courts, all these alternative means of keeping people out of jail and trying to save the taxpayers some money on the one hand, with the express understanding that even if you put everybody in jail, sooner or later they're going to get out. And then all you're going to do is have the same problem again. So that they try to come up with some alternative means of solving that problem. The legislature that we have up there ain't going backwards and changing any of that. They're trying to find more ways of having alternatives to spending money by jails. So the kind of thing that we're talking about here is not receiving less emphasis, it's receiving more emphasis than had been previously given. And as it stands right now, we still have more people in jail than we can house. So everybody's still hustling to try to save the taxpayer money, come up with programs and services that give alternative means of solving these problems.
Well, I know we really appreciate the job you guys do, because without you all guys signing off, it's hard for us to go forward,
Right.
so, and that really, and I'll say that in advance too, that, as much as you guys can help us, we'd appreciate that, because this jail bill's, we're budgeting, what, $600,000-700,000?
600.
Well, the reason I'm dressed to play is because I'm just letting people out of jail right upstairs. Right now!
As long as they don't live on 9 Mile Creek.
Everybody in the county feels that way. Everybody feels that way.
Thank you, Judge Hope and Judge Thompson. There's a motion on the floor to approve the memorandum of understanding for the day report.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Thank you.
I think we're invited to leave.
I mean, anybody else that have any comments? I mean,
Hey, Judge
yeah,
Thompson.
Yes.
And actually, Michelle, I have a Facebook question of one of your. No, it is a good one. Jody Lovejoy from Boone, Logan County.
County, yes.
She graduated drug court and she's
She
trying
did.
to get her record
Yeah, like
Expunged.
taken care of. She doesn't even know where to go, who to start with, or anybody. John Bennett was the prosecutor then.
Still a prosecutor now.
Is it? Okay.
Um,
Would anybody be able to help her with it?
John does the same topic.
Yeah, I think it's,
A lot depend on her original agreement when she
I
came
can't
into
remember that
her.
either, but just Facebook.
Easiest thing to do, who was her lawyer originally? Does she remember?
Her lawyer can always file a motion
Okay.
to have that done, and that brings it all to a head.